What's up, Souliers? Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Vibes it up in the kitchen as usual. We are making Jamaican style stewed oxtail with butter beans. We're in the final leg of things. It took about 3 hours. But I guarantee you, you will want to check this recipe out. And as with everything else we do in the Caribbean, the first thing we've got to do, especially when it comes to meat and fish and all that, is to season and marinate it. Now, I would recommend marinating this for a couple hours or overnight, one or the other. Second most important thing is to wash it. See, nice big pieces of bones. When that was cut with the bandsaw, it will have a lot of sort of grit, and you want to wash that. Besides that, we wash our meats in the Caribbean. I use the juice of, well, an entire lemon, and with water, cool water, and I rinse it all. When being piece by piece, cut off as much as fat as I can. Now here's the thing, the butcher cut it up really small. I would say bigger pieces like this is the best. However, due to COVID, they're pre-cutting and putting everything in bags, so you're buying it straight out of the bag. You can't really talk to them anymore. That said, 4 pounds of oxtails in there, clean, washed, and ready, drained. Salt. Now be mindful, we are using soy sauce, and that is some dark soy sauce. That has a salt element to it as well. My buddy, Spice Jamaica, sent this to me, all-purpose seasoning. And while I am not the biggest fan of using these sort of things, typical Jamaican oxtail always have that sort of multi-purpose seasoning, like an all-purpose seasoning that they use in there. Ooh, we had an accident. Look at that. Well, what I was going to say is I have some dehydrated garlic in there, some garlic powder. And I'll be using some fresh garlic. If you have the powder, you can use it. And some of it fell into Caribbean style browning. And that is that burnt molasses, sugar kind of vibe we got going there. If you can't get that, just any old plain old browning will work. And you will notice that the sort of seasoning is very simple at this point. But fear not, Uncle Chris coming strong soon. We got some black pepper. We're going to put a ton of that black pepper in there. And one thing I like adding in there, man, I'm still laughing, that garlic went flying there, yeah? If you want to put some dehydrated or some onion powder in there, you can do that. I'm putting fresh onion later on. A little bit of Lima currants, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. And then what we're going to do is give that a good mix. If you want to go in with your hands in there, you can certainly rock that. Now if you want onion powder in there, garlic powder, any sort of herbs and spices you like, you can certainly do that. For now we're keeping it simple, that all-purpose seasoning, that dehydrated garlic, salt, black pepper, browning, soy sauce, and a little bit of Worcestershire. Now here's where you will tighten that up with a little plastic wrap, put it in the fridge and let it marinate for a couple hours. We're jumping into things right away. Yeah, we're big and bold like that tonight. I want a nice heavy pot. This is cast iron glazed. If you have a Caribbean Dutchie, do your thing. Medium heat, 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil. Yeah, I'm using olive oil. If you want to use vegetable oil, coconut oil, whatever it is, do your thing. What we're going to do first off is to brown the pieces of oxtail. Now, you will hear people say, we're doing this to seal the meat. You know, and I'll explain that to you why that is incorrect. This is more about the Milliard, M-I-L-L-I-A-R-D, I think. I'll correct myself. But what it is, it's a reaction. So by browning meat, it brings out a flavor. So we start browning. We're not trying to seal, because once this meat shrinks, once it starts browning, you will see it will shrink away from the bone. And think about it, if the bone is sticking out, there's no way you can seal everything. Yeah? I hope you guys understand that little part there. Uncle Chris is trying to cause problems, you know. It is just reality of the situation. So we're trying not to overcrowd the pan either, alright? So do this in batches, flip them over. Now, all the marinade that's left back in the bowl, save that. That is flavor as well, alright? So I'm just going to continue browning these down. I'm going to flip them over. Once they brown a little, and then remove them and add the other pieces. And we've got some lovely color there. It took about 5 minutes flipping it over and stuff like that. So I'm just tossing them out into, not tossing out, I'm tossing it in a bowl. And we're going to set that aside. And we're just going to keep repeating the process until we've browned, or at least get some color. Now you see that? That is the reaction, the mild reaction I was talking about. That is where flavor lives. That is called fond, F-O-N-D. So it's not so much about sealing the meat, because later on we're going to braise this, and who cares if it's really sealed or not. But it's all about building that flavor down there. Ooh, look at that, that piece choice remain in there, boy. Just getting the last batch out. Yeah, it will take a few minutes, anywhere from 10 to 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, closer to 20 minutes. Because we really want to sort of brown everything and bring out all that nice flavor. You know, that's all flavor there. See on the bottom there? You know, I know on the camera, you're probably looking back and running, whoosh, Chris, you burn the thing, boy. No, 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 no. Catch yourself. Catch yourself. No, no. Uncle Chris don't burn things. He's doing this thing for a while now, you know, not just yesterday. Anyhow, last piece out. What I want to do is to add, and my heat is on low now, I'm going to go in with 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Now, Marcia, Donovan, I know all you can make good oxtail. And I know your mommy can make oxtail. But Uncle Chris know what he's doing. You see that little bit of tomato paste there? And somehow they just put ketchup. Try and get that tomato paste. It's brilliant. Nobody owned the copyright on no one recipe, eh? So save the hate. Marcia, Donovan, all you hear what I say? Alright. So back in with all of that oxtail, all them juices going in there too, eh? Now remember the juices where we marinated. All that marinade is going in there too. And give that a little rinse. Put about 2 cups of hot water in there. Here's where we're going to build more flavor. Fresh thyme. I still got thyme in the garden. And add as much as you like. I love thyme, so a lot of thyme is going in there. Something I like, ginger. A couple pieces of that ginger. Scallions. And now, you're probably thinking, Chris, it's about time you're bringing in all these flavors. So here we go. Some onion. And that is just a small onion, all chopped up. We used that garlic at the start there, and I told you guys we're going to go in with some fresh garlic. Scotch bonnet pepper, seeds and everything. Wash your hands with soap and water after, eh? Don't be touching your piggy or nothing like that, because it'll burn, it'll hurt. Trust me. Don't touch your eyes. As a true son of the Caribbean, you know my Caribbean green seasoning have to go in there. A heaping tablespoon and a half, boy. We go in, it's all flavors. And now what we need is liquid to braise this. This is going to have to go low and slow. No pressure cooker. Forget that pressure cooker business. We want low and slow. But we're going to give that a good mix. Go in with that water. Hot water, same bowl where we marinated the oxtail in. But before we give everything a mix, I want a tablespoon of brown sugar. That's golden brown sugar. That's going to help balance off with that nice sweetness and everything. Boy, it's their flavors, yeah? Give that a good mix, as I said. Look at that lovely color. I don't know if the camera is picking it up as it is here, boy. But I'm telling you, there is no way this thing is not going to taste good. All I realize all the flavors that went into this, eh? So now that low and slow. Now, wooden spoon, scrape. Scrape the bottom to the glaze. All that fond, remember that fond we talked about earlier, F-O-N-D? We want to scrape that out. Gosh, I'm moving like I'm from the University of the West Indies, and I'm giving all a lecture here on making good Jamaican oxtail. All I recognize, eh? Crank up the heat. We want that heat high. And we want to go in with that water now. I'm going to go in with 5 cups of water in total. That's 4 cups. I'm going to add another cup because I want it to cover everything. Got that nice bubble happening there. It took a couple of minutes for it to come up to a boil. As I said, I'm going to add another cup of water in there. Compliments of the bowl where the oxtail, the brown oxtail was. We're going to put the lid on that. Turn the heat down to low, crack it open just a tiny bit there, about half a centimeter or so, and let that go. It's going to take anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours, so patience, young Padawan, okay? Patience. It's been going now for about an hour and 20 minutes. Just gonna hit that a quick little stir, and you can see it's starting to pull back from the bone there, which means it's starting to get tender. Now, depending on how old the animal was, you know, sometimes they can be really old. It will be very tough. If it's younger, it won't be as tough. Now, here's where we're gonna go in with some allspice berries. Toss that in there, and my Jamaican friends, they would call that pimento berries. If you don't have the berries and you just have allspice powder, you'll want to go in with about half a teaspoon of the powder. Lid back on, it's still on low, and let that slowly braise until everything is fork tender. It's been 2 hours and 45 minutes, and notice how everything has reduced. It's nice and concentrated. Here's where I would taste it for salt. At this point, you would remove the stems of the thyme. If you can fish out the pimento seeds, as we have here, you don't want to serve it with that. It's done its job. We can remove those as well, all the stems, like so. And traditionally, too, the Jamaican way of doing oxtails or stewed oxtails, what they call butter beans or lime beans. Now, that is straight out of a can. I rinsed it really well to take off the sort of syrup it was packaged in, and very gently, you don't want to break them up, because, you know, here's the thing, they're fully cooked. Those beans you get in the can is fully cooked, so there's no need to really cook this for too long. So the final 15 minutes, so we're going to go 3 hours in total. Now make sure the oxtails are nice and tender. I already tasted it, as I said. Adjust the salt as well, and we're just going to let those beans soak up some of that oxtail gravy. 3 hours later, got a nice thick gravy. Just look at that luscious, silky gravy here. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. I am just going to go in with some parsley. I'm going to work that in there. My take on Jamaican stewed oxtail with butter beans. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. Leave comments down below. Add more butter beans if you want. That was just 1 can of butter beans. I try not to break them up too much, you know. But taste it for salt, adjust it to your own liking. Remember the pimento seeds, we're going to take them out as well, yeah?